Oh, right, today I got a works van for doing my work. They supply me with the van, I drive it about and do my work. And a few years ago I had a Vauxhall Vivaro van, quite nice, had it for 3 or 4 years, and time was for a change. And for company image, it was determined that a UK Vauxhall Vivaro van was not a very good company image, nor would be a Ford Transit. So I was given the option: you can either have a Mercedes Vito van or a Volkswagen Transporter. Now the Volkswagen Transporter is too small for me. I'm 6'3" and I cannot fit in. Literally there is not enough space for comfortable long distance driving. However, the Mercedes Vito, being a smaller van, you'd think there'd be less room inside it. Well, actually there is more room inside the Vito van, and it has cruise control as standard, meaning you can rest your clutch pedal foot all the time, which makes the difference. Only problem being with the Mercedes, which I ended up getting, it only has one cup holder. Hence we are looking at a cup holder. Yes, I got a rip sleeve, it wasn't on the lathe. So I wanted a cup holder and I wanted one that would last. So I searched about for what I wanted was the best cup holder I could get, thinking it was going to be inexpensive. I looked in the local Halfords and other car accessory places, and they had air vent holders and some suction cup holders like this one, and I wasn't happy with what they looked like. So I searched on the internet and found this company. I wasn't looking for cup holders then, I was looking for suction cups. I came across this company. They're called Ram, and they do something called the level cup. And although it looked a little bit rubbish, I thought I'd look more into it. And apparently the United States Army use this mounting system, this cup mounting system, in their armed vehicles over rough terrain to hold their laptops and other computing devices in position. They say that 2 of these can hold a laptop at full pelt across rough ground. So I thought, that's got to be pretty good. Where do I get one from? Well, you have to find a Ram mount dealer. I live in Leicester in the UK. So I searched, and hey presto, there is a Ram mount dealer in Leicester. So I went down to the dealer and says, do you have a Ram level cup? He says, well, we've got Ram mounts for a Ram mount dealer, but I haven't got the level cup in stock. However, I will order one in for you. I says to him, how much deposit do you want? He goes, well, if you're looking for a Ram cup, you obviously know what you want. I'll just order it in for you, don't worry. 3 days later, it was there. Now this was not a cheap deal. The suction cup alone was £30, if I remember rightly. The link bar was just over £20, and this is the shortest link bar they did. And then the cup holder itself was £30, so you're looking at 90 quid basically for the whole setup. And that was 3 years ago, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe longer, I can't remember now. It's quite a while. I've got a new van since I've had that. I've gone through the, so it must be 4 years. So I've had another van since then, back into a Vivaro. Don't need this cup holder in the Vivaro, but I keep it in there anyway, it's really handy. Now this thing has held a full pint of milk hung off the window at that kind of angle around English country roads at 50 miles an hour, driving like a white van man should drive. and not fallen off the screen and not spilt a drop of milk. So it does exactly what it says on the tin. However, having used it for a fair old few years now, it's showing signs of wear. Let's show. So around the bearings for the swivel there, you can see the white powder starting to erupt. It's just getting towards the end of its life. And the hinge is now a fully articulated hinge because it's been in the van for so long. Now, it's not a particularly difficult item to get to pieces, and now I'm looking at it, I can see that it's not a UK metric thread, it's an imperial thread, so I might have to make something. Anyhow, I got told by the ram mount dealer that these balls, although they look weak, if they don't break within the first couple of minutes, they tend to last forever, and well, 4 years later, there it is. When I first got it, I thought, well, this is a bit of a crap arrangement, that ain't gonna last very long, but to be fair, this plastic must be pretty durable, and it's lasted 4 years swinging about all over the shop and only got that amount of wear in it, so, and that's been bared on a thread. So it's done pretty well in my eyes. But it's getting a bit sloppy now, and I'm starting to notice it. You know, when you see things in your eyes and you can see them and you think to yourself, that ain't right, well, that's what's happening now. So without stripping it down and everything inside the van and what have you, I decided what I was going to do just looking at it. So I assumed that was going to be a M5, but clearly it's not, is it? Great, just assumption. So I ordered some M5 thrust bearings. Little tiny things, look at them. So I'm going to attempt to use these thrust bearings, one either side, ka-ching, ka-ching, and then have some kind of little mini HK nuts to hold the preload on, and that should be silky smooth when I'm finished, hopefully. Alright, you'll have to excuse the washing machine in the background. Everybody knows my lathe is in my kitchen at present, until the garage is finished. It's getting closer. Anyway, like the garage, this is getting closer. So I put this on an angle block in the mini mill, and it was all tight, it's all close, and I wanted it done quickly. So I put a 1/4 inch end mill through it, sent it up with a bar in it for a start, sent it up with a Indico tester around a bar which was forced into the original hole, 1/4 inch end mill through it, and then faced the top off, and then I've hand filed the bottom as best as possible, measuring with a pair of calipers side by side. I haven't took too much off, there's still a bit of divot left from the original damage, but that should suffice as it's a 10mm bearing going on there. It'll be right. It's plastic, it'll wear out anyway, so that's enough. And then I made the spigot and 2 spanner nuts. So I've got the 1024 or the 3/16 British standard Whitworth thread, whichever one it would be. I've used the 55° cut with a nice nose radius. And then I've made 2 spanner nuts. They're not finished yet, but they're circular. I'm going to drill the holes in them and use pin wrenches to tighten them up to lock them, to put the preload onto the 2 thrust bearings. And the thrust bearings don't fit at the moment. So this is the bearing shell off of a thrust bearing. And I made these to 5.1mm. And they're not quite fit. I made these in one operation. It was very hard to determine with a pair of calipers what size that internal bore was, so I just cut it to what I thought it would be. So the bearing cups don't fit, but the bearing itself does, I think. So if I force it, it will go on that side. They're both supposed to be identical. It goes on this side just about, and on that one there, if I forced it, it would go on. I don't want to force it. But you see it started onto the land there. So I'm not far off. I'm going to have to put a collet in, hence I've got the chuck off. I've got a 1/4 inch plus 3 thou on that, so I'm going to put a 1/4 inch collet in that. That should hold that beautifully, and I'll skim these down until they fit perfectly. Severely not happy. I've got collets in 64ths from whatever it is, a 32nd up to 5/8, and the only collet I haven't got is a 1/4. And no, the whatever 64ths, is it 9/64ths, whatever it is, I can't remember what it is. doesn't fit it, doesn't hold it. It's not enough. So I'm going to have to put up with the ER32 collet chuck, and let's see what run out this has got. This has got about 3 thou run out, I think, which is going to defeat the object of having to cut a collet. But not to worry. And I've got swollen tonsils. Awesome, loving that. You don't have a little bit of swollen tonsil. Well, I'd say 3 thou, but what I actually mean is 10 thou. No, what I mean is 5, 10, 15 thou. Yeah, that's not going to help a lot, is it really? Oh, it's way out. Way out. And that's hardly touching. Hardly. Oh, it's less than a tenth. That's the bit I made. It's not even moving on a half thou indicator. It's just like, it's just. I'll bring it in and show you. You can see everything there. Let's bring you back a little bit. Hang on a second. I can see what's happening next. The camera mount's about to break, so this is it. This is going to be it for the time being. There we go. There's it moving a little bit. So there's 5/10,000ths of an inch in between each line on that, and that's probably 3/10,000ths, is it? Yeah. Now let me show you the camera mount. Maybe we'll show you what's happening to that, and why there's going to be no more footage today until I've made a new camera mount. Awesome. So we are handheld in approximately the same position, and here's where you were. And I've just looked down and I've just noticed this appearing. Great. I did have it very tight, to be fair, but there you go. I think you see that's just about ready to snap off. Yeah. The only one that's holding it is the inside one. The two outside ones are definitely off. Can we undo that? Yes, we can. And I'm not surprised. Oh, that side's just fallen off. And this side's coming off with it, so it's just being held on by one at the moment. And I don't know which longer that one would last. So I'll not leave the camera on that anymore. I'm going to find something else to hold on. That's really good because it's got all the articulation. I've got that articulation there, I've got this articulation here, and then I've also got, it's all very tight, I've also got articulation this way as well, and I've got the fully articulation here, which really lends itself to being really handy until it breaks. GoPro mount. Righty ho, so far with the shaky video at the full extension of my thing. I'm sorry about the shakiness, but there we go. It's maximum zoom nearly. Full telephoto. It's across here. So hopefully I won't get in the way. Ooh, I want a little bit. So I've just blue Loctited that in with the bearing trapped in position there. Now the cup holder goes on. I might want to just bring it down a little bit so we can see what's happening in there. There. There's a bit crap at the moment, but I'm just going to skip through the camera. Then we have a packet of bearings. There's 3 parts for these thrust bearings. And that to be on. And then the little nuts, which I'm going to modify next. So there we go, the nut is on. Just nip that up a little bit. Bit of tension off. And it should become silky smooth when you get a, yeah, not quite in it. Here we are, we're in. A bit tight. There we go. Look at that. That does so much better than it was when I first bought it. That is unbelievable. Obviously that's not level. Level would have the cup holder something like this. It's got a bit of a sticky uppy. It's up in the air a little bit. Whereas that before, you wouldn't get any kind of rock, you'd just like be two swipes, it'd be like, and then that'd be it. It would stop off centre a little bit. Now it comes to a rest. There's a little bit of friction there. There's no oil in it yet. There we go. I think that's good. So now I've just got to do the lock nuts, and the project will be finished. Right, so we've got some weird stuff going on. I've got my little angle thing as a parallel for pressing on. I've got a 1, 2, 3 block in there, and that's because this mill is minute and I've got to get the part to go this way a bit, otherwise I'm hanging all the way off the end of the ways. But oh, got a new vise for the shaper. That's because the mill over there and the mill over there, that one's not working yet, and that one still has the boring job in it because I haven't got around to doing it yet. It's becoming a pain. Anyway, I don't feel like counting numbers today, cleaning all the dials up and everything. I've just used the angle plate on here, so I had to retram the vice in, and not in the mood for doing too much. So I've put a DTI on quickly because I don't want to count dials and do mathematics. Right, the noise behind you is the solar charge controller and inverter setup. The inverter is throwing an epidural because it's working overtime at the moment. Not to worry, it might quieten down, eh? That's what the humming is. Now this is the mill, and we've got a centre finder in here, and we're going to find some centre. So that's kicked off. We'll set to 0 there. It's just under 1. Okay, just under 1. Put a lot of liquid. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just over 6. 7, and we're back into the realm of places. Get that on, get that spinning round, just under 1. I'm just looking for this to kick off. There we go, I think you saw that. That's kicked off. And the reading I've got is down here, just here. We've got just under 7. So we've got 592. So we need to halve 592. 500. And yep, so that's 296. Is that right? That can't be right. Must be 296. Okay, so we need to go back to 296. We need to go back 296, which will be 396 on the scale. 396 on the scale. We need to go to 396, and that should be bang on centre. Does it look bang on centre? To be fair, that looks bang on centre. I don't know if you can see that, can you? Yeah, you can see that. Just about. So that is that bit. We need to lock it so it can't move, so I don't get a bit rambunctious and move it. Next, I need to know which travel I'm going in this way. The two nuts which I'm doing, one is 2.64mm and the other one is 3.02mm. So obviously I want to come to the end of this side here and touch off and use the centre finder to find that. Go across 100 thou, which is half of this I believe. 5.06, I believe it's exactly 200 thou. Yeah, 200 thou. Okie dokie. Good. Next, I want to do 2.64 on here. 2.64. You know it'll hit every other number apart from the one that you want around it. Right. 104 thousandths. Okay. 104. So for this we will need the humidifier again. The dial indicator. Can I get it up there like that? Yes I can. Opens out a bit more wider. There we go. So I've got the DTI set up here. Has it got the range to do what I want it to do? Yes it has. There we go again. Just lock in the quill, just using Allen key to lock the quill. So welcome to the kick-off. That was it. Do that again, we'll zero that out. Zero both sides, both times. Stop. Unlock quill. Unlock quill. Daddy. Unlocked. Out of the way. So I need to go 100 thousandths for a start. So that's 100 thou. And that should put me exactly centre on the end. Now I want to go 104 thou to bring it to the centre of that. So the 104 thou, and now that should be maybe I need to do half of 104 thou, which will be 52. So we'll come back to 52 thou. Come back up to it. That's 52. And that looks more like it. Okay, so now I want to put 4 holes exactly there. I could lock the table at that for a start. Well, that's going to do a lot for me. Well, I want something that's going to put that block in the same place every single time. So I think I'm going to get my toolmaker's clamps and clamp it on there. Okay, I've got a toolmaker's vice in there now. It's pretty tight. Just loosen it off again, and it's just pushed up against that, and she's in. So fingers crossed it will do the job that I want it to do. Now I need to centre drill. So it will be centre drilling next. Right, I've got a solid carbide centre drill. So tighten the chuck in there, spin the lock, and nip the draw bolt up. All done. Just deburr them a little bit and we'll fit it all up and see it working. Oh yeah, very happy at that. Very happy. Okay, this is the finished article. There's the two knots. Yes, I know the thread sticks out a little bit. I thought to myself, well, it's alright. And it swings beautiful now. It is smooth as silk. I've set it up a bit tight, but still got a bit of braking action on it. But that is going to be wicked in the van. Way better than it was before. Way better. Yeah. There we go. Happy days. So the moral of that story is get yourself a lathe, because you can do stuff like that. I might cut this off. I don't even know what this thing's for. Someone's obviously going, it's for that, it's for that. Well, it's not for anything I use. Maybe there's some kind of strap which goes from there around there, and then a straw. I don't know. Maybe it's a strap. But that is beautiful now. Again, there you go. That's what those nuts look like after being drilled. Well, I think I'll show you the mandrel. We'll look at the mandrel. So that's what the mandrel ended up looking like, which I thought was very interesting. That's well cool, anyway. Oh, it's not quite, they're not quite square, are they? I thought that was well funny. That's why I drilled all the way through, to see what it looked like afterwards. Oh, that was well cool. That is awesome.